Hello everyone. It's great that you have all kept the spirit of Sydney women alive and continuing your support for this initiative, even if it's remotely. I want to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. In a year like no other any of us have ever experienced, it's timely that this event is saluting the many dedicated women who are running the health services and the emergency services, the shelters, the food banks that are facing such huge demand as a result of the pandemic. For many, it's been a year of disappointment, uncertainty and fear, especially for women facing abuse and domestic violence. It's frightening to learn that in Australia, with its already shameful figures on domestic violence, cases have now reached a 30-year high point. So the need for your support is greater than it has ever been in any of our lifetimes. We hope you will join the campaign to support the 4 services helping women who have experienced domestic violence in any of its forms. Not only are these services facing greater demands, their usual fundraising can't happen, and the number of volunteers, often older at-risk people, is dwindling. Thanks to a generous benefactor, all donations up to $50,000 will be matched dollar for dollar. So with your help, Saluting Sydney Women could raise $100,000 to help these fellow citizens. So thank you for tuning in today, thank you for your support, and keep safe and well.
Welcome to Sydney Women's Fund and welcome to Saluting Sydney Women's event, taking place in the homes of many generous women and men. My name's Georgina Byron and I chair the Sydney Women's Fund Council. Wherever you are, we're standing on Aboriginal land. I'm in Sydney on Gadigal land and I pay my respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I also wish First Nations people safety in the storm of COVID. Many of you will be new to Sydney Women's Fund, so a big welcome to our tribe of strong and kind women and men who are giving to Sydney, our beautiful city where we live and work, to make Sydney become more just, equitable and safe. Our Saluting Sydney Women's event is special. Normally, it's a big gathering where we come together and we salute one remarkable woman who has paved the way for others and left her mark on social justice. But 2020 is like no other. This year we're staying home and we're here to salute the many remarkable women who are running women's shelters, women's health services and food banks to support the growing number of vulnerable women and families in our city. We're hoping you will join our campaign to support 4 services who are assisting women experiencing domestic violence. This year, we've all had our moments of disappointment, fear and uncertainty. But for those women experiencing domestic violence, they have felt trapped and family violence has spiked. New research reveals that during the pandemic, almost 1 in 10 Australian women have experienced domestic violence. And for a third of these women, it's the first time they've experienced violence in their relationship. And for those that are already in a violent relationship, half are saying that the violence has escalated, becoming more severe and more frequent. This tells a tragic story and it's backed up by our community partners who have also shared those insights. And they are facing difficulty in retaining and sourcing volunteers, and local fundraising just can't happen. So thank you for coming together to support this important cause. Please share this message widely, please give deeply, and please tell your friends about Sydney Women's Fund. And importantly, please join us in saluting the many remarkable women that are working in emergency services and health services to support the women that need it in our city. I thank all the supporters of Sydney Women's Fund, and a shout out to Dermalogica, our major supporter. I thank the Sydney Women's Fund team, CEO Jane Jose. I thank my colleagues at Sydney Women's Fund Council and the Sydney Community Foundation Board. Now you'll hear from the 4 organisations that you're here to support. Sorry you can't hear them in person. And you'll hear from Strong Mothers, Arana Women's Health, WAJAC or Women and Girls Emergency Services, and Bonnie Support Services. Thank you.
In Aboriginal culture, going back maybe 50,000 years, the place where the young Aboriginal woman gave birth to her baby was seen as sacred and revered throughout the life of that infant. We here in Strong Mothers want to reclaim that place again, the womb of her own being. In that space here, we bring every facilitating therapeutic tool to make of it a sacred place. The care of other mothers, the care of psychotherapy for her trauma, awareness of what transgenerational trauma has contributed to her present life. Care from nutritionists, from speech therapists, from dentists, early childhood preparation for school. Care for herself and her community. Surviving each day with your baby, enjoying it, loving it, is what Strong Mothers is about. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shawnee from Arana Women's Health Centre. I'm the project coordinator for the Safety and Healing program, providing counselling and case management for women impacted by domestic violence. At Arana Women's Health, we're passionate about promoting respectful relationships in the community by supporting women to live free from violence, particularly intimate partner violence. According to research body Our Watch, on average 1 woman a week is murdered by her current or former partner, and almost 10 women a day are hospitalised. 1 in 3 Australian women have experienced physical violence since the age of 15. Sadly, based on information coming through since COVID-19, these stats are likely to rise. We must do our part to push back against this social crisis. With a centre manager and team of volunteers, our trauma-informed practice creates a safe environment, a place women can come as they are, from whatever stage they're at. We'll walk alongside them to build on existing skills and resources in ways that are culturally respectful and empowering. Through the Safety and Healing program and with your support, we can provide pathways to preventing and ultimately ending the cycle of violence, 1 woman at a time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Helen Sylvia, Chief Executive Officer of Women's and Girls Emergency Centre, or WAJAC. I'm sending this video today from the lands of the Gadigal and Wangal people of the Eora Nation, on whose lands all our services of WAJAC are based. I am also wanting to talk to you a little bit about our organisation and what we do. WAJAC has been around for 43 years, and we provide services to single women and women with their children who are escaping domestic and family violence, experiencing homelessness and other forms of disadvantage. We provide a range of accommodation options and a range of supports and support programs. We are particularly focused on our Access program, which is around financial independence and financial empowerment for women. We've had generous support from Sydney Women's Fund over the past few years to help us to deliver this essential program, and I want to say a big thank you to everyone involved in the Saluting Sydney Women campaign for your continued support. Access is incredibly important to us and for our client group because we know that without economic empowerment, women are not going to be able to carve out the kind of sustainable and safe futures for themselves and their children that they need. We know that women experience a far greater level of poverty than men. We know that women retire on far less money than their male counterparts. And in the current COVID world, when we're finding that there is increasing job insecurity, particularly in low-paid and casual workforce, that the women who we support are often most adversely impacted. And that's why we have access to provide mentoring and to provide a range of supports, programs and other tailored services to provide educational opportunities, employment opportunities and the skills and confidence that women need to get back into the workforce and to really concentrate on how they can create safe futures for themselves. So thank you so much. From all of WAGEC and everyone that we support, we salute all Sydney women.
Hello, my name is Tracy Phillips. I'm the Executive Officer of Bonnie Support Services.
And hi, I'm Anne. I'm the Program Manager here.
Thank you very much for having us here tonight, and thank you to the Sydney Community Foundation for giving us this opportunity to tell you a bit about Bonnie's. We've been operating in southwest Sydney for about 45 years. Our history is based in feminism, and we continue to be a women-focused service. We provide accommodation, supportive, practical and therapeutic services to work with women and children while they get safe and rebuild their lives. Southwest Sydney is one of the most diverse parts of Australia, and that diversity is reflected both in the client group and in the staff who work here. So 45 years in, yes, we continue the work because the need is there. Domestic violence continues, and during this COVID period, that has certainly increased like we wouldn't have imagined, and the demand on our services has been incredibly high. And we are still in the thick of that and still responding in the best way that we can to try and meet the needs of as many women as we can. But it has its challenges at the moment, that's for sure. And it's very concerning to us how many women have been unsafe in this time. And so we will continue to do the work that we do. And now Anne's going to just tell you a little bit more about the program.
Hi, so when a woman's come to Bonnie's, and we understand that sometimes it's the only option left for women because they've exhausted their family and friends support. So by the time they come to us, we're trying to do our best to make it a welcoming space for them and their children. So when they come to us, the support that we provide for them is a lot around domestic violence and safety planning for them and their children. Provide them a safe place to stay until they get their feet back on the ground, either to study again, to work again, or just enrolling their kids back in school so they don't have to miss out so many classes anymore. And I guess a step into their new future, because the women always come, and after a little bit they'll tell us a little bit about all their hopes and dreams that they had, and how do we kind of support them get some of that back. And we want to thank you again for giving us this time to have a chat with you.
Thank you, and thanks again to Sydney Community Foundation.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
To close, I want to echo some of what our partners have told us during the pandemic. We've been told more women are staying at home with violent partners. Women are not feeding themselves properly to feed their children and saving money, concerned that welfare, the rules are changing and the money may stop. More younger women, we're told, are seeking online counselling services. Numbers have to be less in shelters. It's more difficult to create harmony because women have different fears about the risk of COVID. The support of violence experienced by migrant and refugee women is more complex because of the language barriers and cultural barriers, and dealing with that at a distance, needing translators. The headlines for women, all of you will know this, have been as bleak almost as the COVID numbers. Families reaching breaking point, a sharp increase in the marriages seeking divorce in the family court, a 200% increase in the most complex cases in the family court, 4 times as many women as men made redundant because of the casual nature of work. And as well, we know from our research in our portrait research of 2018 that 34% of women working casually were only earning $34,000 or less. So all of these things mean women in our city need our help, the help of Sydney Women's Fund, more than ever. If you can give something, we can make sure it makes a difference to a woman's life, to a woman who isn't feeling the security that most of us feel. We're thrilled, and I would like to say thank you to a donor who has given $50,000 to go to these shelters, but we need to match that. Much more is needed. As the social media has said, #InThisTogether, we invite you to join our tribe of kind people, strong people, who lend a hand when things get tough for women in our city. Stay safe till we meet again.